Alright, so this build is pretty nuts if you can get it to work and function properly. It's pretty incredible. So it's the Arc Hunter, Gathering Storm, Gambler's Dodge, Combination Blow, which is the main key, and Pulse Grenade, which you get back pretty much. This encounter I'm going to be doing it on, there's not a ton of enemies all at once. Unfortunately, this would be very insane if there was a bunch of enemies that just kept spawning like second encounter. Well, basically first boss in this new dungeon. Yeah, this thing would go crazy in there, but pulse grenades, if say you're in that encounter, you'd be getting your grenades like every 2 seconds. It's freaking mad. You're going to use, let me see here. Yeah, we're not using that. So we're using Lethal Current. After dodging, next increases lunge range, jolts targets, and creates damaging aftershock, and blinds them. Flow state, defeating jolt targets makes you amplified. Amplified dodge recharges more quickly, and you're more resilient, while dodging and reloading speed is greatly increased. Spark of feedback. Taking melee damage briefly increases outgoing. While surrounded, you are more resistant. Jolts targets for the grenade, and the grenades last longer. Now for this build, you want to be about 100 resilience and 100 discipline. That's about the only things you need, because recovery, you'll be recovering almost instantly when you kill with the powered melee. Mobility you don't need, because whenever you kill with the powered melee, it replenishes your dodge, so you don't really need to worry about that. Strength comes back after you dodge near an enemy, so you won't need that. Uh, so probably intellect would be the third one you go after, even though you get them back in literally like a minute and a half, probably minute and a half. Um, if you have a big group of enemies, obviously, if you don't have a lot of enemies, it's not going to come back as fast. But yep. Then for the mods, you got on the helmet, I put heavy ammo finder, but I'm running double special, so it's like crazy amount of heavy. But you want hands-on to get your super for all these melee kills. Dynamo to get your super very quickly um, when you're dodging your enemy. So that's why I'm saying you get your super pretty damn quick. On this one, you want to run double impact, causing melee damage increases your uh, or reduces your grenade cooldown, which means you're going to get your grenade back very fast. Heavy-handed, so every powered melee final blow you get an orb of power, which also helps with the super regen, which will go down later to help with the grenade regen as well. Um, but emergency reinforcement, so it takes 3 stacks, but it also uh, damage reduction for when your shield is broken. So it's pretty much impossible to die if you do this correctly. If you set it up and know how to use it correctly, then yes, it's pretty much impossible to die. Then you want uh, your resist, whatever you want for your resists. Um, I really don't know what is in here, to be honest. I think it's arc. It's all arc, I believe. And then you would want absolution. So reduces all abilities when you pick up an orb, and you're going to be picking up a ton of them. So just further increases grenade, all that good stuff. Reduces grenade cooldown every time. And you want double those. So like I said, your grenades are literally back in 2 seconds if you got a bunch of ads around you and you're just punching the shit out of everything. And your class piece, you want powerful attraction, which basically when you use your dodge, any orbs that are around you are automatically picked up. So you don't have to worry about running and get them, uh, possibly dying trying to go get one because you need to replenish something. Distribution reduces all cooldowns when you're near targets, which you're always going to be because you're punching everything. And then bomber, which reduces your uh, grenade cooldown when using your dodge. So like I said, it's gonna go crazy. And like I did say, I am rocking double special with 1-2 punch. So pugilist, 1-2 punch. This gives you better melee energy. So say you need to get a quick, you're almost there and you need to punch real bad with the powered. If you don't have your dodge, you can just use this and get your melee back really quickly. And I probably should, we'll put miners back on that. Then I wish that wasn't full auto. I do have a few of these, so I might try a different one. I might try the Matador I have as a 1-2 punch. What is it? 1-2 punch and tunnel vision. So I might try that one. I do have a few of them that I want to try. Also the Gambit Deadweight one, which I wouldn't mind having Grave Robber on that with the 1-2 punch. So that's one I may be searching for pretty shortly. I already cashed in a bunch of engrams and didn't get it, but I do have one that has subsistence 1-2 punch, which you don't want to be killing things with your shotgun, so subsistence isn't really good for this build. And then I'm using Lament as my heavy. It also heals you, just like the exotic Assassin's Cowl, but it's just when you're doing damage, you get your health regenerated. So it's pretty powerful against most anything. 2 or 3 swipes and they're done, as long as you pull it up. So yeah. And then for my aspects, my artifact, you're gonna need Thunderous Retort. Arc super damage is cast while you're amplified or critically wounded. Will make the damage increased. Stayed amplified longer when you have the arc subclass equipped. Amped up, gain resistance to amp when you're amplified. Final blows with arc amplified summon. While you're amplified, summon a burst of lightning that damages and jolts all the targets. And throwing an arc grenade gains increased arc recharge for a short time. Arc final blows extended duration of this benefit. So yeah, your arc grenade is like crazy. And I haven't mastered this yet. I'm not really a arc hunter user. So I'm still trying to get the hang of it. Reset this. I just did one to try to test it. It took me a few runs to get it down, so I died a couple times because the damn witches, they put you in those fucking bubbles. Those black smoke bubbles, and you can't fucking move. But make sure when you are using this build that you go to start the chain or the combination blow stacks. You start out with like a smaller trash kind of ad. It'll probably take you 2 or 3 punches to kill them to get the chain started. And once you get it started, then you're golden. But like I said, these group of ads, there's like 5 or 6, and then some of them are far apart, so you gotta run to them to get to you or get to them. So can be a pain in the ass in this first encounter kind of thing. But we'll see how we do. If I can get it going, we'll be alright.
Massive energy readings surging from below the arcology. All communication channels are affected. The Lucent Hive are forcing their way through from the Ascendant Plane.
Turn that off.
Something is going on. The formations I'm seeing are indicative of something massive. Guardian.
But it definitely would do good on the first big boss encounter, because there's so many ads in there. And the only problem I have is these fucking moths, because I really don't want to waste a shotgun shot to kill them. But we'll throw a grenade, see how good we get it back. So we have 3 lines as our first one. I call them 3 because there's one on... Those 2 I count as 1, in the middle, then the bottom one. Start that. You can also do a finisher on these guys. Get a base. Just like cleaning up everything. Get my candy. And I think the harder the enemy. See, those moths do more damage than a fucking ogre blast. Turn out the way I wanted it to. And look at how quickly that melted it. So what are we 3 lines? Kill him. See, I'm not getting that. Oh my god, that fucking sparrow dude. And I totally whiffed my super. There. Die. Try to get some combination play going. Well, fuck this. I'm the fucking ogre. See, I'm still trying to get used to it. I totally whiffed on some of that, so I'm still... The super, you gotta aim like crazy good. And I'm not used to hitting a little small target like that. I thought my reticle was on him, but apparently not. But we'll give it another shot. I told you, it's kind of new to me, so I'm still getting the hang of it. But this could potentially be, got pizza. Potentially be a solo flawless build. See, I don't like how it takes 3 fucking hits. Fucking smoke got me. that many fucking hits. What are we? Pizza. Dodge in our melee. If I can actually land this fucking thing. Probably whip that shotgun. God. So we got pyramid. Stupid fucking butterflies. They need to nerf how much damage those things do. Like 2 of them together, if you don't see them, you're fucking dead. Look at how fast that orb is. Then you can't one punch him. I mean, it's nuts. Got our super back already. So we got Sea Dress. Witch does not want to leave me the fuck alone. Go after the small one. You could use Liar's Handshake as well, but you just don't get invis. X marks the spot. See any fucking thing? Still can't see any goddamn thing. The smoke is just the worst. Jesus, couldn't see her health. Remember that. See what we got. Probably armor. Yep. Always as usual. Always armor. That is a cool fucking mask, though. I'd have to go through and see what makes it like all black. Like, where do you see gold there? Like, that looks cool as shit. See, that's like red. There's no red in that. No green in that. Oh, there you go. I do like the carbon blood. That looks cool. I gotta remember that. Actually, I might just take a picture of it. That way I remember. Cool. See, where in that do you see blue? Or there fucking green? These shaders just make no damn sense. See, where's blue in that? And purple. Like, what does these shaders do? That one's pretty good too. Neon green. What the? Red or like orange? Like, what is that, dude? Another orange when that's black, blue, green. Brownish. Come on, dude. Damn, that looks nice. I like that purple. Oops. We're gonna try the trials. New trials one. See what it looks like. Actually, I've always liked this one. Not today. This is the new trials one. Eh. But it's supposed to make like the eyes RBG. Yeah. So does pole position, I think, as well. I'll have to find that one real quick. Just photo finish, I think, does it. Yeah. But it's the whole mask. And I do want the cloak on this guy so bad. I haven't gotten the cloak. At least I don't think I have. I can go down and check, but I don't think I have. Look at this horse shit. That is the stupidest fucking cloak I've ever seen in my life. Alright. I want to see Assassin's Cow. Oh yeah, that's much better. My guy looks like he's wearing all leather stuff, like his arms, his cloak, not so much his pants. Well, maybe kind of. We'll give it another run. Searching for a. I've only gotten one grenade launcher, and it was terrible rolled. But I wouldn't mind getting a nice one of those, and obviously the target lock rangefinder SMG. That would be nice. But my Warlock just shreds through this. This is why it's hard to play anything else. My Arc Warlock is just nuts. I have a couple videos on my page that are pretty crazy. And I just added Risk Runner to that build, which makes it pretty good. Yeah, it was already good. So you use that new exotic auto or the Bolt Shot Iron Banner auto, the 720, that thing shreds, or the Risk Runner, and that build is nuts. It's like unlimited abilities, and you get your super entirely fast. Let's get rid of this fucking thing. What's up, buddy? Spawn to the left here. We have Pyramid first. I think this is... Oh! A stupid moth. What are we killing? like pizza. Pizza sounds good. I might die here. Oh. I didn't look to see if I had my melee. My charge melee in there. This is the worst one up top here for the second round, because they spawn so early. Still learning that. Probably could have killed those guys a lot quicker. You know what? We're gonna get rid of that fucking thing. Three lives. Almost fucked up there. What did I say? 3 lines? God, I hate this rock. Did I say 3 lines? Yeah. X marks the spot. See that? That's the stuff that almost fucks you. You're about to kill him and then another one dodges in front of you. And then you hit him instead. When you should have hit the first guy to kill him to get your invis and health regen. That's what's so stupid. It shouldn't make you do that. It should always focus on the one you just hit. Oh my shit, man. Where's the reveal? There we go. Are you kidding me, dude? Whoa, look at those spikes, though. Those are crazy spikes. Kind of like that one. That one. It's almost identical to that one. Might masterwork that, actually. Look at that. Then he put a mobility mod on that. Look at that guy. Yeah, that's good. So I'm not too upset about that one. Still getting used to this build. It's pretty nice, though. That super is going to be a bitch to get on that final boss, though. But the guy I watched to get this video, or the video I watched to get this build, that guy was crazy. He was making it look so damn easy, just standing there and then hit, punch, dodge, wait a second, just stand there, punch, kill everything. He was just making it look so freaking easy that it looked like I wanted to try it. But it's a little harder than it looks. I guess he was just a pro. I think his name is Mantix or something like that. But in order to get good with this one, you gotta practice, so gotta practice on it as much as I can. Maybe I'll try the solo flawless with this, because that super does a ton of damage if you can land it and stick the person with it. Kind of like mid? No, left. Fuck that combination blow. So we got 3 line. We can get there before it runs out. That smoke, definitely, if you have the perk where your lunge gets extended, or 3 lines, that smoke hinders that. Maybe I should have dodged that. Shit. Why didn't I go with his there? X marks the spot. Oh, that got dangerous right there. See, I already have our super back before we even started the new phase, and I'm going the wrong way. Oh, we got pizza. Man, that smoke crack. That got scary there too. Pizza. That lunge thing confuses the shit out of me, because I thought you could lunge from that far, but apparently not. sea dress. I think this might be the last one, too. Or second to last. See if I can actually get a grenade kill. Kind of scary. When you don't have that invisibility, man, you're dead there. Especially with that smoke crap. Look at all the heavy, man. Probably another armor piece, just so you know. Oh, rocket. Impact casing. Envious assassin. And bait and switch, please. Not even fucking close. Had two of the perks I want. But that and that are just trash. Been a little better at the build. But yeah, kind of a spoiler alert. Next raid that they're coming out with, the reprise one that they're bringing back for next season, is going to be Scourge of the Past. The home of the original Anarchy. I don't know what they're going to replace it with, but everyone's using these Bonk Titans to solo the dungeon.
Don't leave this sniper in the dark corners of time any longer, as it is going to be absolutely f***ing mental in Season of the Deep. Praedyth's Revenge is definitely one weapon you've forgotten about, however this rapid fire frame sniper could just catapult itself right into the meta. Not only did it already benefit from the kinetic damage archetype changes in Lightfall, meaning it does 15% more damage than its energy counterpart straight out of the box, it also benefits from the recent 30% ammo capacity increase and the massive 50% recoil reduction. Snipers are then getting a sweet 10% damage buff in Season 21, making this relic of the past a must-have pick. This drops from multiple encounters within the free-to-play Vault of Glass raid, plus any of the secret chests there too. You can even farm it from the Spoils chest as well till your heart's content. You can even get the powerful Time Lost version from the Master Raid Oracle Encounter Challenge. It's a kinetic, rapid-fire frame sniper rifle perfect for blowing your load instantly, and it has all the perks that you come to expect, including Feeding Frenzy, Quick Draw, Firefly, and Opening Shot. However, it's this immense god roll combo here that you should be going for, especially if you've got endgame aspirations, day one dungeon race jitters, or even just want a solid workhorse of a PvE sniper rifle to pop crits, because this makes it perfect to pair with the mega endgame damage builds like Thunderlord and any one and done super like the Warlock Strand one. Rewind rounds is the main reason why, and it's an absolute must have on any endgame DPS picks, as it effectively nullifies any damage output downtime by instantly reloading a portion of the weapon's magazine depending on the number of hits landed. This will refill 60% of the total number of hits landed, so with a base 7 in the mag using tactical mag to boost your magazine size, stability and reload speed, you'll get effectively double the magazine size if you land all of your shots. Then if you pair this with high impact reserves, this is where the Praedyth really starts to shine. This grants a weapon damage buff of between 12 to 25% when you go below 50% of your magazine. With rewind rounds keeping you perpetually at below half your magazine, you'll be able to benefit from this buff to at least 3/4 of your total shots landed. You'll only get the maximum 25% buff on that last shot, but rounding out at about 20% overall, this buff is nothing to be sniffed at, especially with the Lightfall buff, the upcoming Season 21 buff, and not to mention the triple kinetic surge mods that you should and can be building into to maximise its DPS potential. Ideally, you'll want to set it up with Arrowhead Break to improve the recoil direction to be near on vertical and to minimise the bounce intensity, which will help you keep your shots on target, and the Stability Masterwork won't go amiss either. Now that you've got the best free-to-play endgame sniper, make sure you blow your back out farming for this cracking endgame god roll sword just in time for next season.
I have it. That's cool. That's very cool. I thought he was going to say something else. And then I looked at my roll. I'm like, oh, I hope he says that. I don't know if you guys heard it, but I played a video of a sniper rifle from Vault of Glass.
Endgame DPS are two words that have never ever been said about this useless Beyond Light exotic, but what if Season of the Deep is about to change all of that? This exotic grenade launcher was the first ever stasis weapon we got our sweaty mitts on, setting us on our way to where we are now with incredible Darkness Fiend options like Conditional Finality, Winter Bite, and even the exotic strand trace rifle the Navigator, but Salvation's Grip has sat dormant in your vault collecting dust, that is until now. With Season of the Deep, this exotic received a long overdue change, let alone buff, and for this forgotten relic of the past, it's absolutely game changing. The exotic Cryo Cannon perk still has the charge shot function, but this will now instead shoot a V-shaped wave of stasis crystals, which increases in size the longer you hold the trigger to charge up the shot. You will only have to hold the trigger for about 1 second to get the maximum charge, and the new reticle system Bungie have developed gives an excellent visual cue for you to see when it's at its maximum charge, as does the blue stasis pattern if you're close enough to it. Now you can shatter these crystals created just like any other normal stasis crystal by shooting, punching, sliding or shatter diving into them. Shattering 3 or more of these will instantly also reload your Salvation's Grip 2 with the Shatter Shot trait, but arguably the biggest change here comes from the new alternate fire mode with the uncharged shot. Just tapping the trigger will fire a normal grenade launcher projectile that will now deal increased damage to stasis crystals, but more importantly, frozen targets. From testing, this is a 30% damage increase in damage caused to frozen targets, which is nothing to be sniffed at and is quite frankly huge compared to what this paltry exotic previously did. The only prerequisite is to have a target be frozen, which adds further breakout damage on top of the extra 30%, even more so if you have the Whisper of Fissures equipped, and with all the recent stasis goodness added to the sandbox, with things like Chill Clip or Headstone being commonplace on a ton of weapons, not to mention all the stasis subclass abilities, it's easier than you think to set up consistently. This damage boost even stacks with all your normal damage boosting setups, especially the potent fire team combos, but it's the overdue rework to another exotic that genuinely has caught my fancy. The Mask of Bakrish just became even more insane to use in your favourite Revenant Stasis Hunter builds this season. Now, on activating the Light Shift dodge ability, you'll get an improved 25% damage boost for 10 seconds, not only to your arc weapons as you did previously, but now also to any of your stasis weapons too. This makes total sense and is an excellent addition in my opinion, as it always baffled me as to why stasis weapons were never included, and the real upside of this is that you don't even need to slow or freeze targets anymore either to benefit from it. This buff now even works in PvP too if you're ever venturing into the Crucible. The only real downside is that this buff doesn't stack with any of the now standard weapon surge mods, but it will still stack with empowering buffs like Wells, Radiant or Bubbles, and even your popular debuffs. But as the Light Shift ability will buff both your arc and stasis weapons, it is an excellent trade-off, and you can therefore run a stasis weapon in the kinetic slot, an arc energy weapon, and then either an arc or stasis power weapon for the maximum benefit, with the only downside for Light Shift being the amount of time it'll take to recharge your dodge ability. You can however use surge mods when Light Shift isn't active to have an always on damage buff, and then use Light Shift to pump up the damage potential when you need it. The Whisper of Hedrons is going to be excellent here, as it massively boosts your weapon handling as well as recovery, resilience and mobility stats by 60 points on freezing targets, and so will get you your dodge back in no time. Paired with a Winter Shroud Gambler's Dodge, a Shuriken Melee and the Touch of Winter Dustfield Grenade, you'll be able to freeze targets on demand to get Salvation's damage boost, and the Revenant Super is going to be top tier during boss DPS phases. This isn't going to be meta by any stretch of the imagination, but it has some extreme utility, from huge ad clearing by shooting the stasis crystals, all the way up to decent boss damage, especially with all the buffs stacked together on a frozen target. The Destiny Item Manager build link is down below for you to copy if you wish, and if you want the perfect stasis weapon to pair with this build, find out why and which perks you'll be needing by checking out this next video.
I need to
To
see
pair
that
with
next
this
video.
We're having a stasis waveframe wet dream over here, because after what seems like years of asking, we've got 2 of these in just a matter of weeks. The Chode isn't very good to be honest, but it's a totally different story for the new Pacific Epitaph. Acquired from what is essentially Oryx's grave in the new Ghosts of the Deep dungeon, and to put it simply, it is a pinnacle chase weapon that you should be trying to nail down. It drops from completions of the first encounter and the final boss encounter in the newest Destiny 2 dungeon, and as like any dungeon, the encounters are farmable even after the first completion on any given week. It's the first ever breach loaded stasis waveframe grenade launcher in the kinetic slot, and it arguably has one of the coolest looking waveframe animations too, plus it has all your standard perks in the pool such as Unrelenting, Demolitionist, Harmony and Adrenaline Junkie, with even never before seen on a waveframe with Kill Clip, and even the new Collective Action perk for excellent damage boosting potential. However, it's this combination right here that is going to get you to finally part ways with Forbearance, because this makes it arguably the best wave frame in Destiny 2. Redirection was the previously raid only perk for the Deep Stone Crypt weapons from Beyond Light, so the fact that it's now on this dungeon grenade launcher makes it a standout from the crowd for a reason. It's arguably a slept on perk even after all this time. You build stacks of redirection by hitting red bar enemies, which goes up to a maximum of 20 stacks. It consumes 1 stack per hit on yellow bars at 5 stacks or less, granting you a 20% damage boost, but at 6 stacks or above, it'll grant you a whopping 100% damage boost. In a grenade launcher, this is absolutely nuts, especially as wave frames are generally used for clearing out groups of ads, so you'll be constantly building up stacks of redirection. If you hit a yellow bar enemy within a group of ads from that single shot, you're going to get that 20% boost at a base level, or even better, the face melting 100% damage boost, all contained in just one single shot. And then to get you back in the action quicker whilst in the action, Perpetual Motion is going to be my pick due to the boosted reload speed it can offer. However, the base reload isn't too shabby anyway, so Lead from Gold could be a winner here, especially in any double special loadout using a trace rifle or something.
Ghosts of the Deep, the brand new dungeon launch today, and I want to go over all of the roles for the weapons. I know, honestly, I actually had a ton of fun with this dungeon. The intro is a little bit kinda but the 2 boss fights and the overall scenery is honestly really cool in my opinion, and also the armor from the dungeon looks absolutely sick. And just as a little heads up, if you didn't know, the armor actually does work with all the RGB shaders, so if you do throw on photo finish, it looks absolutely amazing. But with the armor being as sick as it is, does that mean the weapons are going to be the same? Well, I hope I can answer all that in today's video for you all, and as always, if you all enjoy learning anything new, consider subscribing and dropping a like. I am on the road to 40,000 subs, so every single bit of support from you all goes a long way, and it is truly appreciated. But first off, I want to take a look at the origin trait, and that is Restoration Ritual. Revolving an ally or defeating combatants with finishes reloads this weapon and readies an emergency reload for the next time this weapon runs out of ammo. So honestly, out of all the origin traits in the game, I think this has potential to be one of the best ones. Being able to get Revive just to reload the gun is really, really nice. And also, if you just finish an enemy, it reloads the gun as well. There's a bunch of finisher builds that you can make that's going to pair really well with this origin trait. And on top of that, it does say that it will ready an emergency reload. So say you're in something like a boss fight, you can be sure to get a finisher before you go into it. And now when your magazine is empty, it's going to fully reload it, and you can start doing more damage with that fully reloaded gun. And again, this also does still work with reviving allies. I think this has potential to be one of the best origin traits in the game, and I'm excited to start messing around with it. I want to first start off with the grenade launcher, the New Pacific Epitaph. This name alone is already really cool, but what is also really cool is that this is a stasis waveframe grenade launcher, one of the first of its kind, and I think this weapon definitely has some potential. So if we take a look here, you can see in the first column we have Ensemble, Unrelenting, Shot Swap, Lead from Gold, Demolitionist, and Perpetual Motion. Then the second column we have Pugilist, Kill Clip, Harmony, Collective Action, Redirection, and Adrenaline Junkie. Now the unfortunate part of this is that it did not come with Choke Clip or Chain Reaction. I think this would have been a very cool option to have on a stasis grenade launcher, but it still does have some pretty good perks. Waveframe grenade launchers on their own are already really good weapons, especially for ad clear. And in the first column, you have things like Unrelenting if you want to heal up. You also have Lead from Gold to get some more ammo if you're running double special loadout. Demolitionist is also an extremely good perk because you're going to receive even more grenade energy since this is a special weapon getting kills. And then the second column, you also have Pugilist, which is going to work the same way as Demo, but you're going to get melee energy instead. Kill Clip's also a good option because you can constantly reproc it now, and you're always going to have the damage boost since you're always shooting one shot. You're always going to have Kill Clip up. Collective Action is not a terrible perk, and Adrenaline Junkie is also not the worst option, but if you're going for a damage boost, I probably would just take Kill Clip instead. So there's a couple different combos you can go with this. If you want Unrelenting Kill Clip just for constant healing and more damage, that's good. If you want that double special out, definitely take Lead from Gold and maybe something like Kill Clip. If you want to go full ability regen, you can go Demo and Pugilist so you can get all your abilities back, which is really cool. But I think my preferred go-to role for PvE is definitely going to be Demo and Kill Clip. Now for PvP, if you like using these grenade launchers, you don't have a whole bunch in the first column that's going to be crazy. I guess you can make Unrelenting work. Shot Swap, maybe. Demo still be an okay option, and Perpetual Motion is alright. But in the second column, if you can proc Kill Clip, I'm not exactly sure the numbers. Maybe you could potentially get a one-shot even with something like Collective Action, because that is really broken on stasis classes in PvP right now. Harmony could also be pretty fun if you swapped this, then maybe one-shot. I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to do some testing with all that, but it could potentially be a pretty fun option in PvP. I don't think it'll be meta. All right, so now I want to take a look at the Greasy Lug. This is the brand new solar glaive, and it is a rapid fire glaive, which I'm pretty sure we have not seen one of these yet. So it is going to be a brand new archetype. Now I'm not exactly sure if this is going to
So, we got a brand new stasis wayframe, and that is the new Pacific Epitaph, whatever. However you say that word, it is what it is. I suck at it, so let's just get this out the way. But this brand new stasis wayframe grenade launcher, it might be the only stasis wayframe grenade launcher. I know there's the heavy from Neo Numa, but that is a power weapon. So yeah, it's not using those green bricks. It's using those purple bricks, which sometimes can get very hard to find. But yeah, this stasis wayframe is glorious. Also, I think like I said, it is the only stasis wayframe. If there is another one I'm missing, definitely drop a comment down below. I know there is another stasis grenade launcher in Lingering Dread from Duality. It's a lightweight frame. I don't care too much about it. I don't really have one myself because I didn't care about it. So yeah, this is already off to a very good start in my books. Now, for the PvE sandbox, wayframes are kind of the go-to grenade launchers, so this is definitely up there with some Arc wayframe and Solar wayframes and Void wayframes. Now we have a Stasis one, and this is completing that little synergy desire for some players. Now, before we get into all the perks, let's showcase the loot table from Blueberry GG. This is the most accurate depiction of this loot table you can find. So if things are true, again, a little caveat, maybe you can get things in a second encounter, it's just not being reported. I highly doubt it, but I just want to leave that caveat out there. The only way to get this weapon from an encounter drop, let's say you never got this weapon before, is through the first encounter, which is the Hive Ritual, and beating the final boss, which is the third encounter. Now, if you do have this weapon, you just need to get the good roll. Secret chests will grant you the ability to get this weapon as long as you earned it. So if you guys have earned this in some degree and looking for a better role, those secret chests are very much a opportunity for you guys to get it. I would showcase a secret chest, but I don't have the recordings. That's a separate topic. Not really important to this video. I'm sure there's many other YouTube videos you guys can find. I'll probably link one down below for secret chests for you guys to follow if you don't know. Now, back onto the weapon itself. Let's jump into all the perks. Here on screen is the rolls. Now, I'll showcase two god rolls because the one I use the most will certainly fit what I need and what I'm going for, but there's opportunity for more dynamic god rolls here, and I think that's a great thing about this weapon is that while you may need something specific, things are very friendly with the possibilities. So here on screen we have them. We'll be reading from right to left and we'll be labeling them so you can follow along. Now with the origin trait we have a new one, Restoration Ritual. This reviving allies and defeating combatants with finishers reloads this weapon and readies an emergency reload for the next time this weapon runs out of ammo. This is a solid origin trait. Now next to that in column 4 we have Pugilist, Kill Clip, Harmony, Collective Action, Redirection on a grenade launcher, Interesting, and Adrenaline Junkie. Next to that in column 3 we have Ensemble, Unrelenting, Shot Swap, Lead from Gold, Demolitionist, and Perpetual Motion. For magazines in column 2 we have High Velocity and Implosions, nothing new there. And for our barrels in column 1 we have Volatile Launch, Confined Launch, Counter Mass, Hard Launch, Linear Compensator, Quick Launch, and Smart Drift Control. And of course this is a wave frame. So for one, let's talk about the god roll to the left. This is what I'm going for. This is specifically actually what I have. I guess YouTube luck, RNG, I don't know. This is what I got. It's lit. It's amazing. So we have Volatile Launch, High Velocity rounds, kind of the gold standard when it comes to grenade launchers. If you guys get this combination, it's the best of the best. Other launches can be better depending on what they benefit. High Velocity rounds, amazing. Unrelenting and Kill Clip, great synergy for two different purposes. Unrelenting allows me to just, allow to get heals on kills. Let's say things get a little bit crazy, especially in this brand new dungeon. Using this to get kills can heal me, which is great. And then Kill Clip, which is a time perk, so I can get 2 shots before the kill clip runs out. But if I keep on getting kills with kill clip and keep reloading, this perk pretty much feels passive in most scenarios depending on the activity. This feels amazing. However, we slide over to the right and we guys want something a little bit more dominating or a little bit more wild. This weapon can roll with Demolitionist and Adrenaline Junkie at the same time. This combination fits that desire for those grenade lovers out there. Again, a lot of people are grenade lovers, so if you guys are looking for some more damage output and some grenade synergy with your waveframe grenade launcher, this weapon has tons of potential to do that. Again, the first 2 perks will relatively be the best. High velocity rounds is definitely what you want to lean for, and then based on the launch, based on the stats, well, based on how much you will love it even more. But Demolitionist, Adrenaline Junkie, one combination for a god roll, and Unrelenting Kill Clip for another option for your god rolls. These two are the best of the best.
The new Pacific Epitaph is a stasis waveframe GL that you get from the dungeon, and in today's video we're going to be talking about it, how strong it is, and what its god roll is. First thing I need to mention is that its origin trait is actually really sick. It says reviving allies or defeating combatants with finishers, reloads this weapon, and readies an emergency reload for the next time this weapon runs out of ammo. So if you revive someone, it'll auto reload it for you, and then when you fire a shot and fire the next shot, it'll immediately fire afterwards for revives or for a finisher, and you'll see that later in the gameplay here. That's actually a pretty sick and pretty unique origin trait. As far as the two powerful perks go, I can pull up the entire column here and show you what we have. These are all of the possible perk options that this weapon can roll with. So looking at everything in the left-hand column to the right-hand column, we can pretty easily decide what the best perks are going to be. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't have a perk like Chain Reaction, like the Forbearance does. The Forbearance has Chain Reaction, and that makes it absolutely goated because it can fire one shot, and anything that it kills, it explodes and kills enemies nearby. It does have some damage perks in the right-hand column. And one thing that's interesting about a Waveframe GL is that you wouldn't really want to use it with a damage perk, because if it didn't already originally one-shot the enemies, then you just wouldn't use it for that activity. So you're not trying to fire this thing twice just to clear some ads. You're trying to fire it one time and clear a line of thralls or whatever it may be that's in your way. And so damage perks really don't synergize the best with this type of weapon, in my opinion. So instead, what I would go with is just Pugilist, so that way you just get some melee energy on the left. And then on the left-hand column, we could probably go Demo Pugilist if you just wanted to use it for getting a ton of abilities. However, you also have Lead from Gold there, so you can get tons of ammo for this. But then you also have Unrelenting. Probably the best perk option would be Unrelenting and Pugilist. This is just going to feed you more grenade energy, and it's going to give you your health back when using it. Obviously, Forbearance exists, and I still think Forbearance probably outclasses this weapon a little bit, but because it's a different affinity,
See what Cactus has to say about it.
What is up, guys? It's your boy, Bungie. I want to learn about the Veil, not some whale, Cactus. And today, we are going to be showcasing the brand new weapons dropping from the Ghosts of the Deep dungeon that has just gone live within Destiny 2 Season of the Deep. And guys, these just might be the best dungeon weapons I have ever seen. Like, I'm talking potentially multiple best in slot weapons. I know personally, thinking about some of the builds I run, they will be the new best in slot weapons for me. Like, as soon as I get those god rolls, baby, I am yeeting these weapons on those builds and they are not coming off. So let's talk about why I'm so excited by firstly going over these weapons' origin trait. Kind of a weird place to start, but this just might be the new best PvE origin trait in the entire game. Like, it is right up there with Soul Drinker and stuff like that. So it's called Restoration Ritual, and what it says is reviving allies or defeating combatants with finishers reloads this weapon and readies an emergency reload for the next time this weapon runs out of ammo. So here's what that looks like in game. I have this dungeon SMG right here. As you can see, normally I just shoot, it runs out of ammo, I reload. But if I go and get that finisher, in the corner of my screen you will see Restoration Ritual present. And now, if I shoot this weapon, as you can see, it just keeps shooting. There is no animation. There is no delay whatsoever. The millisecond it gets to 0 ammo, it tops up the magazine completely again. That is insane. And all it requires is a finisher. Guys, finishers have become extremely common, if not meta, within the game. Like, imagine if you're even up to higher level content running a Grandmaster, often you actually have someone dedicated to running the Aeon Gauntlets to generate heavy ammo for your teammates for finishers. A lot of the time, you have people running special ammo finisher as well. Like, getting finishers, again, has become very, very common. So, instantly reloading and then getting essentially a free doubling of the magazine size for just accomplishing that finisher is amazing. Now, it's cool and it's good on this SMG, but on other weapon types like rocket launchers, it is just beyond powerful. I mean, I'm using the new Cold Comfort Dungeon Rocket right here. As you can see, I get the finisher and I get 2 rounds back to back with no reload, and that is a noticeable uptick in your DPS when you're using a rocket launcher. Now, you may be thinking, well, it's only for that one initial magazine and then you're gonna have to go and get another finisher, and that's true, but remember, the origin trait will also reload your magazine instantaneously upon getting a finisher. So that means you can get a finisher, do a double shot, and as you can see, if an enemy is nearby, get a finisher on that guy and get another double shot. Again, that is actually a lot of rockets in a pretty short period of time. However, again, is this going to be as consistent as something like Clown Cartridge? No, that's going to give you 2 rounds every single time. But remember, that is a main perk. This is an origin trait. You are getting a Clown Cartridge reload 2 rounds in the mag for an origin trait that is usually useless. Like, some of the origin traits in the game are like, upon killing 3 champions, get +5 mobility for 1 second. Like, bro, Bungie, nobody wants that. This is so much better than most origin traits, and it lets you use those 2 main perk slots for other things. And this is where we get into the talk about the god rolls, because those main perk slots of the dungeon weapons are nutty. For the Cold Comfort, you can get, as you can see, bait and switch. Guys, this is the first time we're seeing this perk spawn on weapons outside of the Vow of the Disciple, and it provides a 35% damage increase if you hit an enemy with all 3 of your weapons. So, to put that in perspective, Explosive Light, which is like one of the best rocket launcher perks in the game, everyone was hunting for a hothead with Explosive Light. That requires you to pick up an Orb of Power, and it gives you a 25% damage increase. So Bait and Switch is arguably easier to trigger depending on your weaponry, and gives a 10% bigger damage increase. That is incredible. And you can pair that with, I think, Envious Assassin in that first slot for an even bigger magazine size. So if you trigger Envious, you're getting 2 rounds in the mag. You have the finisher from earlier in the damage phase. Remember, that finisher, like, it doesn't have a cooldown, guys. You finish a Thrall at the very beginning of a boss DPS phase and save that bonus for when the boss actually spawns, get that, free mag size, shoot 3 or maybe even 4 rounds with your Cold Comfort, and then you start reloading. But you've gotten such an insane amount of burst DPS off initially that's just incredible. Moving off of the Cold Comfort finally, the SMG is also phenomenal. So this is an aggressive frame archetype. It's solar, the no survivors. As you can see, it can get Rangefinder in that first slot, just like the Immortal. I mean, I have 64 range with this thing. That is very impressive. Not to mention, for a PvE role, it can get Demolitionist in the first column and Incandescent in the second column. So this is just like outright better than the Callus mini tool, right? I mean, because that can get Incandescent, and yes, it's enhanced Incandescent because it's craftable, but the best perk in that first column is just Threat Detector. I would take Demolitionist over Threat Detector in a heartbeat. So for me, like, again, I'm replacing my Callus mini tool with the no survivors when I get the god roll. But in addition to that, guys, you have some first evers. So you have the first ever Stasis Wave Frame Grenade Launcher with the new Pacific Epitaph. So as you can see right here, I lucked out and I did get a pretty darn good roll of Demolitionist in that left column, super valuable, plus it can also get Adrenaline Junkie. So absolute wombo combo right here. Obviously for Stasis builds, this is a huge uptick in power. Like, they have not been able to use a wave frame grenade launcher, and wave frames are very, very good, and this is one of the weapons that really, really benefits from that origin trait, right? Because you normally just get 1 round in your grenade launcher. Well, now, if you're getting finishers, you're yeeting out 2 rounds, and it lets you do the combo of you get a finisher, you yeet out 2 rounds, you chuck a grenade to trigger demo to get a 3rd round really quickly. So 3 rounds of grenade launcher like instantaneously. Really, really good. And then moving on from there, last and not gonna lie, kind of least, we do have the Greasy Luck Glaive. It's up on screen. I'm not making the name up, all right? So this as a glaive, I'm not quite sure how meta this will be. Glaives are not super meta in either PvE or PvP. There was times where they were very good. I remember like even running Grandmasters with glaives because the block damage absorbed like 97% of incoming damage. Like, it was absurd. So there is certainly a place for them, and importantly, the Greasy Luck is the first legendary rapid fire frame glaive. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't seem to really apply to the melee. It's only how fast you actually shoot the glaive. So that's obviously not as amazing if it meleeed faster, like holy crap. But still, like if you do like glaives, the uniqueness of, again, it being the only one of its archetype so far that's a legendary is a huge deal. So those are the new dungeon legendary weapons. However, there's actually something else interesting about them that you should know about, and that is they actually go up in value if you're using multiple at the same time. And here's why. As you can see right here, if you get a finisher to trigger the origin trait, it will activate for stowed weapons. Which means, as you can see, I get the finisher with my SMG out, and I whip out my grenade launcher, and it also has the perk and gets that double shot. So if I'm using the rocket and the SMG, and I get a finisher, both of them are getting that double magazine size. That is actually very, very valuable. And so guys, there you have it. I guess this dungeon is going to be where I spend all my free time for the next...
After years of waiting, we finally got our first kinetic slot waveframe grenade launcher, being one of the best PvE weapon archetypes thanks to its add clear capability. Waveframes are a staple to most players' loadout, most commonly seen in the form of 4 Barons. With the launch of the new Ghost of the Deep dungeon, now we have access to the Stasis waveframe grenade launcher, which can drop either on the first encounter of the dungeon or the last encounter of the dungeon. It's called the new Pacific Epitaph, and here are all the perks it can roll on it. Blood from Gold is just my personal favorite, since I do use waveframes as a primary weapon, but Demolitionist and Unrelenting are also 2 very good alternative perks. For the last column, I have to go with Kill Clip, since after the change to Kill Clip somewhat recently, you can keep refreshing the 25% damage buff after reloading after a kill, allowing you to one-shot healthier targets you otherwise couldn't. However, if you have Demo in the previous column, Adrenaline Junkie is also really good. One more thing worth mentioning is that since this is the first ever waveframe in the kinetic slot, we can pair this archetype with glaives, legendary trace rifles, and energy exotics we otherwise couldn't use with a waveframe before. Anyways, let me know in the comments which role you're going for, and good luck getting the role that you want. Regardless, thank you guys so much for watching, and
Today's video is sponsored by Mobalytics. Mobalytics is a free companion app for a variety of games, and they are now supporting Destiny 2, providing descriptions for things like exotics, tier lists, and even nasty builds. Matter of fact, you can find today's build available for reference on their site, with everything broken down in text form. This is a fantastic resource, especially for my new players, and we're extremely excited to see all the new features they'll be adding in the coming months. So again, if you're interested in seeing today's build broken down in text form, and hell, if you want to watch today's video while looking at this build, you can head on over to Mobalytics website by clicking on the link down below in the description, and from there you can download the app today. Once again, thank you to Mobalytics for sponsoring today's video. Guys, we're in our 2nd week of the season, and that means we've got a pretty good idea of all the new content this season, and it's time to analyze the current sandbox and figure out what the PvE meta actually is. Fellas, today we have a build that we recommended for last season for Grandmaster Nightfall specifically, but this season it's even better. Don't worry, I'm not going to teach you too long. There's a ton of nasty in this. Today though, we're going to be looking at our Void Warlocks. Now, our exotic armor of choice is Fellwinter's helmet. That's right, and I know you're probably thinking, Cross, we already know what Fellwinter's does, and to that I ask, are you sure? Fellwinter's is one of the best options for PvE content. Power melee final blows, creates a burst of energy that weakens nearby targets. Finishers and final blows against more powerful targets increases the radius of the burst and the length of the weakening effect. Now, this exotic perk is pretty good by itself. It applies that 30% debuff to any target close to the shockwave. That is the highest debuff in the game, only matched by Tether and Tractor Cannon. On top of that, radius is increased depending on what you kill, minors, elites, majors, and this also affects the duration of these debuffs. Now, for those wondering why we just broke out Felwinter's helmets, it's because it got an indirect buff in Lightfall, and that's actually because of the fragment Echo of Cessation, where finisher final blows create a burst of void damage that causes nearby combatants to become volatile. And defeating volatile targets creates a void breach. Now, this fragment single-handedly turns Felwinter from kinda good to an ad-clearing machine. Honestly, it's one of the most fun combos I've ever done. Tons of explosions, extra damage. It's nasty. Now, all this sounds great for ad clear, but what about high-end content? This ain't Season of the Seraph anymore. GMs are actually getting difficult, but that's where the rest of this build comes in. Continuing with our fragments, Echo of Obscurity, where finisher final blows grant invisibility, is the next obvious choice for this build. This will keep you alive even behind enemy lines. You even got Echo of Harvest, where defeating weakened targets creates an orb of power, and a void breach, which is super easy to proc considering we're constantly weakening enemies. And for our last fragment, you have some flexibility. We actually went with Echo of Undermining, where your void grenades weaken targets. Now, one of the biggest questions we had while making this build, does the 15% weaken effect from Echo of Undermining override the 30% from Felwinter's helmet? The answer is no. The 30% debuff always takes precedence, and that goes both ways, no matter which debuff is applied first. This also takes us into a little side tangent about our testing with the weakened debuff itself. I haven't personally seen this talked about online, but if it has, feel free to let us know. But this is actually something Luke discovered. Now, I know when it comes to buffs and debuffs, things have changed over the years, but for the most part, we have a good understanding of where things lie. The bigger number always takes precedence, correct? As if you apply a 15% debuff, and then soon after applying a 30% debuff, your debuff will now be 30%. But what about when the 30% debuff is finished, as in its duration? Does the 15% debuff then take effect? The answer? Actually, no. All weakened debuffs share the same timer, and we tested this all with our 30% debuffs. Tether, Tractor Cannon, Felwinter's Helmet. It does not work with Tether, which is quite unfortunate. Tether reverts back to a 15% debuff as soon as it's gone. And I guess it's safe to assume that it's just coded differently than the other 30% debuff sources. But using Tractor Cannon, a debuff that would normally last just 10 seconds, we can get up to actually 45 seconds. In the case of Felwinter, this comes in very handy if you want the debuff to last longer. But there are no ads easily accessible. Just follow up with your grenade or Child of the Old Gods, chain them together, and you've given yourself an extra 15% damage increase for free. Now, going back to our void fragments though, some other options you can choose are Echo Persistence, where void buffs apply to you. Invisibility, Overshield, and Devour have increased duration. We also have Echo of Starvation, where picking up a void breach or an orb of power grants Devour. Either one of these would be good options for more survivability if you're willing to trade off the extra weaken from your grenades. Now, for our super, we went with Vortex. Abilities, we chose Healing Rift and Scatter Grenades. And for our aspects, we have Feed the Void and Child of the Old Gods. Again, swap any of these out if you want, but let's now get into our weapon of choice. The coolest part of this build is our weapon. As many of you know, the new dungeon, Ghost of the Deep, just launched this week, and with it came a slew of new weapons, several of which have meta picks in our major builds. Today, we're going to be looking at the new Pacific Epitaph Stasis Waveframe Grenade Launcher, and if you like Forbearance, then you're going to love this one. Waveframes are very strong, and this one, combined with Felwinter's, creates perfect synergy. Now, the reason these weapons are so good is because of their origin trait Restoration Ritual. Reviving allies or defeating combatants with finishers reloads this weapon and readies an emergency reload for the next time this weapon runs out of ammo. Now, when we first tested this perk, we thought that surely there must be a catch, some kind of downside to that emergency reload. Turns out, it's as good as it sounds. After a finisher or revive, your weapon is reloaded, and when you empty the mag, it instantly refills, which means on our grenade launcher here, you can shoot 2 shots back to back. It even works when the weapon is stowed. You can use your energy weapons, get a finisher, and then swap back to the grenade launcher, and you can shoot 2 shots. With our Felwinter's build, this means double grenade launcher shots all the time. You can use it for extra DPS, ad clearing. We actually use it here to chain finishers back to back, priming high health targets in Master Nightfalls, and it was beautiful to watch. So what roles should you be chasing on this weapon? Lots of people were upset it didn't roll with Chill Clip, but it still Nova has a lot of great options to boost damage in the second column, such as Kill Clip, Harmony, Adrenaline Junkie, and Collective Action. For this build specifically, any of them can really work, but we're actually kind of leaning more towards Harmony, considering how much we're swapping back and forth between this grenade launcher and our energy weapon. For the first column, we have a wide variety of traits, but let me draw your attention towards Demolitionist. This perk with this build is incredible because we're already increasing the duration of weakened grenades with Echo of Undermining. After performing a finisher and using our 2 grenade shots, we then throw another grenade, and then instantly we have a third shot ready to go. That's 3 grenade launcher shots in less than 3 seconds. Lead from Gold is also a decent perk if you want to use the double special build, but none of the others in this column are really worth getting compared to those 2. Now the cherry to top it all off, this is a legendary weapon, meaning we can pair it with an energy exotic. We could choose something like Wave Splitter to take on Overload champions. But honestly guys, this opens up any exotic, whether it's for the energy slots or for your heavy slot. Now as for our mods, in our helmets, we have Stasis as well as Harmonic Siphon. Rapid Weapon Final Blows creates an orb of power, and these feed into our armor charges. On our gauntlets, we have 2 Stasis loader mods, which increases the reload speed of our Stasis weapons. These are to increase our grenade launcher here. And on our chest piece, we have Charged Up. For our boots, we have Stasis Weapon Surge. We also have Elemental Charge. We're collecting a Fire Sprite on a Trace or Stasis Shard, or Void Breach, or destroying a Strand Tangle has a chance to give you armor charges, as well as Stacks on Stacks, which gives us an additional armor charge. Now for our class item, guys, you definitely want to rock Proximity Ward. That overshield literally allows you to tank everything. We also have Time Dilation, which extends the decay time there for armor charge, as well as Special Finisher, which allows us to top off our special ammo. Now Time Dilation works in tandem with Stasis Weapon Surge to boost the amount of time our grenade launcher does increase damage. Stacks on Stacks decreases the time it takes to reach 3 stacks of armor charge,
That's
so
a
we can
pretty
generate
good
special
build,
ammo
to be
when we
honest.
perform a finisher, and Proximity Ward protects us while performing those finishers. Now Elemental Charges gives us even more armor charge for picking up Void Breaches, which leads us right into the artifact perks for this season. We have 3 very powerful perks for season 21, which is Unto the Breach, where defeating Void debuff targets creates a Void Breach while your Void subclass is equipped. We also have Protective Breach, where picking up a Void Breach gives you an overshield or refreshes your existing overshield. And Supernova, where picking up a Void Breach causes your next source of damage to create a large weakening pulse. All of these combined supercharges our Void Breach pickups to give us a ton of extra benefits, more health, and more weaken on demand. Now as far as gameplay loop, it's very straightforward. Lower an enemy's health, finish them, double load your grenade launcher, use your GL to prime more already weakened and volatile targets, and just keep using finishers to spread more weakened and volatile and get more kills with your GL and energy weapons. Pick up those Void Breaches and considering using your GL and firing those back-to-back 3 shots. That's the build, guys. Tested in both Master Nightfalls and Master Lost sectors, and I fully believe it's going to be just as potent in Grandmaster Nightfalls. Guys, if you're interested in this build, a dim link will be listed down below. Feel free to come by our stream. We do live testing all the time. If you got a build yourself, you can always come by our stream and let us know, or you can even comment it down below. We definitely read your comments, so please feel free to share whatever you've been
might
cooking.
try that.
Fellas
That
and
sounds
ladies,
like
thank
a
you
fun
all for
build.
coming and watching, and
Right, Void Warlock time, and I promise you, you're going to want this combo in your life. We are talking about the Mighty Wave Splitter, and we're going to pair it up with the Cenotaph Mask. This combo is absolutely insane for endgame content. We're going to do some serious damage and ad clearing capabilities, and on top of that, we're going to mark enemies and provide heavy ammo for your teammates and special ammo for yourself. And we're going to add the Wave Splitter in there, so we can cause some really nice suppression as well, which is obviously excellent for endgame content as well. And we're going to take full advantage of the suppression effects with Unto the Breach. Defeating a Void debuff target creates a Void Breach while your Void subclass is equipped. And then we've got Protective Breach. Picking up that Void debuff is going to give us an overshield or refresh our existing overshield. And then Supernova, picking up a Void Bridge to knock our next Void attack, do weakening effects. Now these 3 artifact perks are a vicious little cycle. Until the breach, defeating a void target creates a void breach. Pick that up, we're going to get an overshield, and then our next attack from Supernova is going to weaken enemies, and that is then going to also proc a void breach. So it's a real vicious little cycle. And on top of that, because we need to kill void debuff targets, the Wave Splitter has supercharged battery on there, and that suppresses, as well as everything else we've got going on the Void Warlock, Child of the Gods, weakening grenades and everything like that. So it's a really nice little combo. Weaken everything and create heavy for your teammates, it's crazy. Now, Cenotaph Mask, what this does, it steadily reloads a portion of your quick trace rifles magazine from reserves. And if you damage a vehicle, boss or a champion, anything that's a yellow bar, you're going to drop heavy for your teammates if they get the assist, and not only that, it drops you special ammo as well. There's a couple of nice combos, Divinity, etc, but Wave Splitter really makes this one tick very nicely, because laser damage has 3 power levels to oscillate while the trigger is held down, so it does plenty of damage. And then as we focused on the supercharged battery, collecting an orb of power, grants a period of maximum power. It also reloads the magazine and suppresses targets, so that obviously works well with all the seasonal artifact mods. So look at this Overload champion, it's Overload trace rifles, he's marked up. Basically what that's telling us is our next kill via my teammates, if they get the kill, it's going to spawn them heavy ammo if they get the assisted kill, and every time you kill their kill for you, you get a drop of a green ammo as well, so you never have to worry about running special ammo finders, you can just concentrate on heavy ammo finders. And it works against various different enemies in the game. Like we mentioned, vehicles, bosses, mages and champs. I found it's anything that's a yellow bar and it will work perfectly. So as you can imagine, the strength of this build for like future GMs, even like 1840 Nightfalls at the moment, Master Raids, normal raids, this combo is absolutely crazy. You are so helpful for your teammate, and let's not forget the actual Void 3.0 Warlock rework is absolutely insane. So you are going to be able to clear loads and loads of enemies as well with things like Child of the Gods, and the actual Wave Splitter itself, as we know already, is an absolute monster. Now another thing that I really like about this helmet is the actual tracking system. Like, that is actually pretty useful in certain situations. For example, situations like this, you might not know where your champion is. I can imagine like Glassway, things like that, marking an overload so you know where he is at all times. But the suppression effect from Wave Splitter, you'll see there, pick that orb up, proccing that supercharged battery, and just being able to stop things in the track. Suppression is really strong in the game, and I sometimes feel it is very underrated, but suppression is an absolute monster of a void debuff. Like so, just stopped him dead in his tracks, that big yellow bar over there, and he's usually invisible, and that's that tracking system just literally kicking in, so you know where he is at all times, telling your teammates that's free heavy, basically. So that is the video. I'm going to go over my fragments and aspects and leave the build card playing out at the end, and I'll also leave a dim link in the video description.
Might try that build too. Got some good Warlock builds, it looks like, that I gotta try.
Below the arcology, all communication channels are affected. The Lucent Hive are forcing their way through from the Ascendant Plane. There's something else going on. The formations I see are indicative of some kind of mass ritual to Guardian
Maybe we can get some good shit here. pyramid. I gotta check something real quick. Let's okay. Bring this out here. Pizza. Pizza, pizza. Now, I got caught. And of course, I went to melee the first guy, to melee him again, and to kill him, to proc it, but guess what? It fucking triggered to somebody else. That's the worst. That's so fucking bullshit, in my opinion. He's literally right in front of you, and you can't like punch him twice before something else runs in front of you. then you get stuck in that witch's shit. Got blue line. Got pyramid. got pizza. Look at all this heavy. Got 3 line. And that moth was right on my ass. Golly. Bungo.
Okay, so my friend Kefri managed to get himself hands on the new SMG, and this is after I've used it, and honestly, this thing feels better than Immortal. It seems like Target Lock Enhanced is damage glitching very often, and I don't know how to feel about it. Personally, this seems a little bit broken, but it's the perk itself is not broken. It seems to damage glitch a lot. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I played a little bit of everything. I played Rift, Momentum, in Rumble, and this thing feels amazing. Better than the Immortal. And on top of that, you can get enhanced perks, and you can pick your perks and roll yourself. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you around. Love you. Let's see what we've got.
Shouldn't play music, dude. Ruins it.
What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a quick Destiny 2 news video. And this may not come as a surprise, but we're going to talk about bugs in this one, as well as some other bugs and a few glitches. I'm not sure what the difference is really, but there have been plenty of things breaking in the game over this past few days. So initially Bungie gave us a heads up on one of them which is actually beneficial to players. On top of that though, we're going to touch on a couple of broken exotics. Bungie had to drop a hotfix to disable the Khepri's Horn, and they made an update to the Iron Banner. So we'll cover all of that stuff, and then we're going to talk about some future updates for Destiny 2 this year. Some of the big system changes, but also rumors about content this season, upcoming rewards, and a few other things in the videos. So, as always guys, I hope you enjoy this one, and if you do, a rating below really does help us out on the channel. But without further delay, let's get into it. And firstly, we have a quick update from Bungie here, and the Destiny 2 team said that purchasing a Last Wish deep sight weapon from Hawthorne currently awards double progression towards pattern progress. This wasn't intended, and it will be fixed in a few weeks, but until then, go farm and consider this a bank error in your favor. And so if you are looking to craft weapons from Last Wish that have been updated this season, alongside the quest that Hawthorne has, those deep sight weapons are counting with extra progress. So it certainly will be quicker to farm those out now, while that error is still a thing. And let us know down below if you are working towards picking up any of the updated Last Wish weapons. More bugs right here though, and in the Iron Banner there was a problem where Khepri's Horn was breaking everything. I'm not even entirely sure how it works, but by wearing Khepri's Horn and popping a barricade next to the capture points, players were able to get 80 points in 1 second while capturing zones, and essentially instantly win Iron Banner matches. And that was pretty wild, so Bungie said, due to an issue, the Khepri's Horn exotic Titan helmet has been disabled in all activities. But even after doing that, players that actually had the exotic equipped were still able to use it despite the fact that it had been disabled, so it didn't automatically unequip it from characters, meaning the fix only partially worked, and some players were still able to exploit it. And so up next, Bungie Help said, the game type for Iron Banner has changed from Control to Eruption. And I guess that was the ultimate fix, to change the game mode so that the exploit in general no longer works on those control points. So things got pretty interesting in the Iron Banner in the last few hours, and let us know if you had any experience with that down in the comment section. Next though, following the update that we had on Thursday, a couple of things to clarify. Initially, it appears that the exotic focusing fix didn't fix much. And so firstly, there are still complaints about getting low stat rolls for the exotic drops, but on top of that, it is worth reiterating that the focusing selections aren't actually represented in the exotic that gets dropped. So even if you're focusing for a Forsaken exotic, at the moment players are still only getting exotic drops from vanilla D2 as far as I know. So Bungie's fix for that is also to disable it, and they said this is an issue with exotic focusing not granting the intended rewards, and advanced decryption focusing has been disabled until a fix can be implemented. Although they say precision decryption focusing will continue to be available while we investigate a solution. Hopefully they'll get a fix for that soon because it's been buggy since the launch of the season. All being well though, hopefully we'll get hotfixes for those issues shortly. In addition to that, there is a cheese in the Ghost of the Deep dungeon, where players can use Witherhoard to farm an encounter. That cheese is still working, so we possibly have a bit of time before Bungie put a fix in place for that. And finally, Bungie also reduced the weapon swap delay from 2 seconds to 1 second. And of course that was designed to stop weapons sharing each other's damage bonuses and things like that. But unfortunately for Bungie, reducing that back to 1 second appears to allow Fourth Horseman once again to be able to take advantage of that weapon swap damage bonus. And so I think Bungie are going to have to find a different solution to that problem. Not sure what it will be, but share your thoughts down below. Here though, I wanted to talk about a few changes that we're going to see in Season 22 and beyond. And it's interesting to go over these now that we've got our heads around some of the changes for Season of the Deep. And so firstly, Bungie have said they're looking to add a new weapon mod that will increase the level of a crafted or enhanced weapon for the cost of standard currencies in the game, and it's designed to be a convenient method for unlocking early perk choices, as well as potentially spending any spare currencies we've got stockpiled. And that's in addition to things like deep side activation that we got this season, so it's going to happen at some point during Year 6, and it could be as early as next season. Also for Season 22, we know that we're going to get a new Vex network map, and so Crucible will finally see a new PvP map, but Bungie also plan to bring back the Citadel map on Dreaming City during Season 23, which will be immediately before the final shape. They've also said in general, they want to make some targeted changes to ritual content based on what they've observed about why players engage with it. But over time, they want to start pushing both more rewards to ritual content and more ways to engage with it. And that'll include changes like no longer asking players to earn all 3 of the ritual pursuit ornaments in seasonal challenges, and to allow players to earn more rewards and complete more of their weekly challenges by playing the content of their choice. So there could be some overall quality of life adjustments coming down the road. But they add this rebalancing of objectives and rewards is going to be a slow burn over the year of Lightfall. We are going to take a more direct approach in our last season of the year, and they plan to dedicate a significant amount of development time towards a more core ritual focused season. And interestingly, they say while this season will have plenty of new activity and story content, we want to take this time right before the final shape to crisp up our core rituals and pursuits as we head into the final expansion of the Light and Darkness saga. And it's interesting that they contrast new activity and story content with core rituals and pursuits. I guess we'll find out. But of course in Season 22, we're also going to get the exotic mission rotator. So there'll be a new playlist that features different exotic missions each week, including Presage, Vox Obscura, and Operation Seraph Shield, and presumably there will be relevant rewards that we can pick up from those. But of course beyond that, we will get Fireteam Finder, the in-game LFG, and that will launch alongside Season 23. We are of course going to get a reprised raid for Season 22 though. That certainly will be interesting. I'm very hopeful that we'll see Wrath of the Machine from D1. There's a new rumour recently that suggests Bungie could reprise. I guess a spoiler alert is necessary, although I can't really validate this and it may not mean anything, but some folks on Reddit have suggested that Scourge of the Past could be reprised instead, and that's based on some data that was changed in the game for that specific activity. But take that with a big pinch of salt. And I know of course many players would certainly prefer to see Wrath of the Machine, but let's just wait for Bungie on that one. Before all of that though, of course, this season we'll have Grandmasters coming into play. No doubt there'll be a couple of other items from the core season content for Season of the Deep. And we will of course have Solstice of Heroes, which, as we spoke about recently, looks like it'll still feature the something new hand cannon that we got last year, but also a new event weapon. This was listed on Light GG as the Strand Precision Frame rocket launcher. For the moment though, that is literally all we know about it, as most of the data for it hasn't been shown. But as always, that stuff I will keep you posted on. And for today, that's what we have to speak about. So a bit of a mixture of news, as well as a few recaps there. So I hope you've enjoyed it nonetheless. And if you have, a rating below.
Grow stronger. You must. This city needs you. Guardians. They don't matter. Overcome yourself. Being a Guardian means you wield the light, that you're a protector of the last of humanity, that you have a duty to this tower, to this city, to keep it safe. If Savathun can be saved by the light, and a Guardian can wield the dark, we are in uncharted waters. Vanguard work will stoke your light, but don't forget to refine it in the Iron Banner. It's good to be back on Earth again.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Today we're gonna be making a video with a brand new dungeon SMG. If you guys don't know already, the brand new dungeon that came out on Friday.
Changing up my battery and my headphones real quick.
Actually has some pretty good guns. Oh my god.
There is no wind ball. There is no.
Oh, that guy just instantly died. So the SMG that we're gonna be trying out today. Hang on, there's still more coming. There's just zombies running at me in straight lines. Okay, the gun that we're gonna be trying, I don't even know the name of it. It's called the No Survivors, and it's an Energy 750 aggressive. Once again, it has target lock and rangefinder. This one that we're gonna be using has high cal and full bore to go with it, and stability masterwork. So we are 10 off of max range, but I mean either way, it's still gonna be really good. But I believe this is the only SMG in the secondary slot that has the same perks as Immortal. So basically, this is a must-have right now because since target lock and rangefinder are not really nerfed yet, and there's still another season of this stuff, if you want to use any primary shotguns or any primary snipers, you're basically forced to use Ikelos or like another weapon if you're running an SMG. But with this, it's a secondary Immortal. Like it's better than Ikelos. It's better than whatever secondary SMG you're gonna use. So I'm gonna run the conditional finality, and then I'm gonna run this SMG once I get target lock rangefinder, and hopefully I can get a good one soon so I can actually run it. It has a pretty cool scope. I actually like it, and it sounds pretty nice too. Oh yeah, that's nice. That is nice. It's a lot better hearing this sound than hearing Immortal spam. I'm not gonna lie. I'd much rather hear this sound. Immortal spam is like fucking chalks on a chalks. Like nails on a chalkboard. How's it going? Oh,
no mercy.
These guys have radars. I'm behind you.
Respect you for it. Bonds.
So because this gun is like classified in the API or whatever, we can't actually see what roles are on it. But the main thing is just target lock rangefinder. There might be some other possible roles that you guys can get. It can get the new perk collection or collective action. So that's the one where when you pick up a stasis shard or whatever, you get increased damage. So you could do a similar build like I did last video with Stasis Titan, and it basically gives you target lock without actually having to proc target lock. So that's possible as well. I don't know if that's something that people want to do. I think it takes the slot of the right side, so you can run rangefinder and collective action, so that would be kind of scary too. But anything is target lock rangefinder and you want ricochet with full bore and a range master, just max range completely. Same exact thing as Immortal.
It's time to fight.
This thing actually feels a lot, I'm not lying, this thing actually feels a lot better than Immortal. I'm not gonna lie.
Guardian down.
I don't know what it is, but I mean, I do have a stability masterwork. I don't think so. They both have really similar stability, which is like 0. This guy's heavy. I'm dead. Come on. Is that? Raytech Werewolf. Nah, but this thing actually does feel really good.
The Iron Banner determines whose light is strongest. The Crucible is safer.
I don't understand why Bungie keeps adding like more 750 SMGs. I actually don't understand. Why do they add this into the game? They make spare rations dog shit. And then whenever Immortal does get nerfed, or whenever target lock and rangefinder nerf happens, like next season, there's already another craftable primary SMG. Like, I don't understand. And then they just nuke everything else that they bring. They're just ruining the game for fun. I'm bored. 4.2 KD right there. Not too bad. Alright, we're back on the second game. We got a good map, but my lobby is dead. There's 4 people in my lobby. Let's see what I can do. What the thrusters?
Grow stronger.
Dude, this is bad. Like, okay, it's not like bad. It's good, but like, this is bad. You know what I'm saying? People are gonna, once they get their hands on this, dude, it's gonna be hell. I think Immortal and Cloud Strike is just the best because Cloud Strike, you know, if your teammate dies, you die because of them. But like running Defiance of Yasmin or Conditional Finality and then still having an Immortal level fucking weapon, that's insane. Like, this is actually broken, dude. I don't understand. I don't understand. Oh, I can't kill him. He's too far. I actually need to make a video with Crafted Nation of Beasts. People have been telling me to make it, like, with enhanced explosive, I think, and enhanced opening shot. People are saying it's, like, it's just really good. What the fuck? I guess I need to make it. I have an account that has, like, all the weapons crafted. I'm not sure which guns I want to do first. So if you guys want to see any Last Wish crafted weapons, let me know down in the comments what... Oh my god, my fucking... Let me know which guns you guys want me to do first. I'm down to do hand cannon, I'm down to do Chattering Bone, whatever you guys want to see, just let me know. I haven't done any Last Wish weapons yet. No, welcome my name. There we go. There we go. Ow! Dude smacked me with a shield and got Ovies from it. Alright, pick a side, please, pick a side.
Guardian, there's massive energy readings surging from below the arcology. All communication channels are affected. The Lucent Hive are forcing their way through from the ascended plane. There's something else going on. The formations I've seen are in danger. Massive Guardian can...
That way, you know, you can get a good like distance.
No.
Hell yeah.
Oh, they're all right there.
That's pretty good. Talking about the centrifuge?
Yep. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, he's
He
dead.
fell off the map.
Oh, he's dead.
What's poppin', Guardians? Bungie did it again. They made a broken combo exotic that maybe should not be in the game, but for now, we're gonna use it and we're gonna abuse it. Me and another buddy already are enjoying it greatly. I am very shocked that this works really well in Trials of Osiris, and it even less than sixes, but you know, we make it work. And we're gonna show you the proof on what happens when you combine Threaded Spectre and Bombardiers. Complete total annihilation. It's very nice. So here's the distances. That's pretty much your max distance on targets that can be killed. This is still inconsistent in a live gameplay. It's not going to be it doesn't happen as often. But here's also the more max distance. This is from the heavy. The one on the left isn't going to take as much damage. However, they will be in a one-shot state. The person on the right, however, they did get tickled, but they're not going to be close to death. But of course, Bombardiers, Threaded Spectre is all you need. Bombardiers, if you don't know, creates an explosive ball on the location when you dodge, and it'll also do several different effects depending on your subclass. Your main thing is to be server, but it doesn't really matter besides making a tangle once you kill a person. But Threaded Spectre is also another explosion that creates a lot of fun moments like this.
I don't want to use the Darkness Beast. Take an eternity.
Yeah, okay, no time.
Oh
More
my
man.
effing goodness. Goodbye, nerd.
There's still 3 behind you. Up on triple.
Good, good.
Goodbye.
How this game fucking works sometimes.
It's like
No.
4 on B right now.
Yep.
Map my super in a second.
We just wiped them all though, so let's get it.
Still more fair and balanced than Arc Titan's knockout, am I right? But let's go into the more class breakdown. So Grapple is the best friend that you should be using in Strand Hunter, especially Strand Hunter, because you're gonna be getting a lot of benefits from hitting targets with the Grapple melee, like Heavy-Handed and Focusing Strike. This is a class ability focused class or build, so you gotta be using these 3 mods. They're very, very crucial.
Guardian, there's massive energy heat surging from below the arcology. All communication channels are affected. The Lucent Hive are forcing their way through from the Ascendant Plane. There's something else going on. The formations I state are indicative of something. Mass ritual.
The Rose hand cannon is gone, and in its place now we have the new competitive playlist legendary sniper rifle, the Mercurial Overreach. And you may be wondering, along with many other Guardians, is this sniper rifle worth the comp grind to get? There are definitely some pros to this sniper, but there are undoubtedly some drawbacks as well. In the interest of valuing your time, I'll give you the final conclusion first, and then I'll spend the rest of the video unpacking why I feel that way. I do not personally feel like this sniper rifle is worth going out of your way to acquire. It will be nice to have a god roll one of these, down the line, I'm sure, but I would not prioritize it over the pursuit of other important gear this season. I'd just put it off until you've done just about everything else, unless you feel really drawn to this sniper and you want to go get it. I mean, it is beautiful. It's a very, pretty weapon model, but that's just my personal 2 cents. And now that may sound harsh, I don't think that this sniper rifle is trash at all. I just don't think it's good enough to make you sideline the rest of the seasonal stuff to go play 10 comp matches total to get your first drop of this sniper, and then 6 more to get your other 2 drops for the week. I mean, that's roughly 2.5 hours of playing what I believe to be a not great playlist, just to get your first drop. And if your luck is like mine, then your first drop will be Slick Draw and Mulligan and be basically completely unusable. But let's chat about the pros, the advantages of the gun, before we get into what I believe are its biggest hindrances. First, it is on paper absolutely a stat monster. Like, just compare it to the Beloved, which is, you know, both craftable and one of the most popular energy sniper rifles in the game. Beloved is on the right side of the screen here, and Mercurial is on the left. At base, Mercurial has 15 more range, 8 more stability, 5 more handling, 12 more reload speed. It does have 5 less aim assist, a slightly better recoil direction, and the same zoom value of 40. Beloved's origin trait is close to useless in PvP since most people aren't sitting on their supers for very long, but conversely the Mercurial has 4 different stocks to choose from instead of an origin trait, providing bonuses like plus 15 handling on one, like the one I'm using in the gameplay. Another offers plus 10 stability. I mean, if we're judging off of appearances on paper, then the Mercurial is the hands down obvious choice here in the energy slot, and it's not even close. But then let's move on to the perk pool. In the first column, we've got Discord, which can be fun for trick shots, Surplus, which is always great, Slick Draw, which is an instant shard for me, Firmly Planted, which isn't terrible, but is ultimately situational, Perfect Float, which isn't great on a sniper rifle in my opinion. I mean, the activation time requires you to be in combat for a few seconds, but you're almost always starting your engagement with a sniper shot and then swapping to your primary. So I think that this perk is a pass. And then you've got Snapshot, which is obviously always a great perk on snipers. I think in the first column, Surplus and Snapshot are the top 2 picks here, with Discord coming in third. Then in the second slot, you've got Vorpal Weapon, which is a good perk on an adaptive, so you can put down supers. In the gameplay here, there are times where I dome a super and they just don't die, and that's always a feels bad. You've got Moving Target, which is always a great pick as well. No Distractions, which I'm not a huge believer in. Mulligan, which is better than people think on a sniper. Opening Shot, which is S tier for additional range, accuracy, and aim assist on that first shot. And finally, Elemental Capacitor, which can be solid depending on your subclass. Ultimately, I think Opening Shot and Moving Target are your best bets here, with Vorpal and Mulligan close behind. So not all the perks are bangers, but there are definitely some exceptional rolls that you can get with this sniper. My personal god roll, I think if I had to pick one, would be Fluted Barrel, Ricochet Rounds, Snapshot, Opening Shot, Short Action Stock, and a Handling Masterwork. That's the absolute perfect combo that I'll be looking for. The one in the gameplay is kind of close to that. It's got Fluted, it's got Snapshot, it's got Short Action Stock, but the Masterwork is for range, and mine has Moving Target instead of Opening Shot. But now that we've sung the praises of this sniper, it's time to get into the cons, the drawbacks. I'm just going to be honest, this thing is super zippy, super snappy, handles like a dream, but it feels like it goes out of its way to miss shots. Like, I use my Crafted Beloved a lot, which has the same zoom, but is behind the Mercurial in most stat categories, but the Beloved feels like a cakewalk to land shots, especially in closer engagements. But the Mercurial just does not want to cooperate. It's like it secretly has negative aim assist or something. Without exaggerating, I think that in my matches with the Mercurial, I would have hit at least twice as many headshots with my Defiance of Yasmin or my Beloved easily. There are some shots that just left me scratching my head, wondering where on earth the bullet went. And I know it would have connected with the other snipers that I always use day in and day out. And the other advantage of my Defiance and my Beloved is that they're fully crafted with enhanced perks, and every single aspect of the gun was tailor-made to my liking. The Mercurial has a set number of drops each week, and you just might not get the roll you're looking for until your 10th or your 15th drop or whatever, and that's weeks or even a month of grinding. Another thing people often complain about with the Mercurial is the size of the reticle. Now, I had my doubts when people started giving that feedback. I doubted that the size of the reticle would actually matter much, but then I started using the thing, and wouldn't you know it, my old man eyes did in fact lose that reticle from time to time, which made quickly acquiring my target sometimes a real challenge. I mean, I often sit here for 30 seconds at my computer wiggling my mouse and darting my head back and forth from monitor to monitor, trying to figure out where that dang cursor is, so I guess it's no surprise that this tiny reticle evades me occasionally. So I'll say that the only thing I ended up really liking the Mercurial for was really off-the-wall Hail Mary snipes. It really does handle so well, it's super fast, it's super zippy, and I could go for quick scopes and no scopes melees and all that stuff. And when those connected, hey, it felt really fun and really cool. But if I'm just trying to play well consistently and land my shots and be useful to my team, then this sniper rifle is never going to be my pick. I'm going with my Yasmin, or my Adept Uzume, or my Beloved, or even my Frozen Orbit. They all just feel so much better in the end than the Mercurial does. While those trick shots are fun, hey, I'm not in FaZe, I'm not in Optic, I'm not in 100 Thieves or TSM, and I'm assuming you're not either. I was in a clan called Dads of Destiny. I don't flex my trick shots anymore. I flex my perfectly manicured lawn with perfectly checkered lines after I mow, and then I stand on my front porch with a cold beer and admire my work before sitting down and doing a Sudoku or two. But anyway, that's my take on the Mercurial. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you did, then would you consider leaving a like? So I was out of town when the new season dropped, and apparently I missed a really solid PvE roll on a brand new world drop, a Strand auto rifle by the name of Old Sterling. But luckily I've had a few of these drop organically, one of which was an absolute banger for PvP that works very well with my existing Strand build on my Warlock. I took it for a spin, and 200 kills later, I am now a believer. This is one of the smoothest feeling legendary auto rifles I've ever used in PvP. Dueling is a literal cakewalk, and you may even see me drop an emote or two in the gameplay on some Immortal Adept spammers in quick play. It's not malicious, it's just a tip of my hat. After putting them down, a polite reminder that even the easiest gun in the game wasn't enough to put the Old Sterling in its place. So let's take a minute to unpack what it is exactly that makes the Old Sterling so good, and what you should be keeping an eye out for when they drop for you. First, the basics. The Old Sterling is a Strand auto rifle, so it has access to all the Strand interactions, like the chance to spawn a Threadling on final blows, severing and unraveling, and creating and detonating tangles. That alone makes it valuable to many Strand users. But beyond that, it's an adaptive frame auto rifle, meaning it has a 0.8 second optimal TTK with room for a body shot in there. That's faster than a 140 hand cannon by 0.7 of a second. Since it's Strand, it goes in the kinetic slot, so you can run most fusions with it, or any of the stellar energy snipers in the game like Beloved or the Adept Uzume, etc. But since it has some pretty good reach on it anyways, you might actually get off better by using something like a Matador. Now, since I know most people don't make it to the end of the videos, I want to make sure that I hit this early in the video. The Old Sterling has the field-tested origin trait. If you're not familiar with it, think of it sort of like a hybrid baby version of Killing Wind. As you acquire stacks, you'll get an increasing buff to range, handling, stability, and reload speed. Only here's the kicker. That buff does not go away until you die. It's not on a timer. So as you're using the weapon, it's gradually getting stat bonuses to literally the best stat categories on primary weapons: range, stability, handling, reload. Now you're gonna get one stack on your first kill, a second stack on your third kill, and a third stack on your sixth kill. Now you can keep this going all the way up to 5 stacks, and your gun is going to be an absolute monster. Now, if you know me, then you know I'm a huge sucker for snowballing builds, and this weapon fits that role so well. The Old Sterling has a lot going for it at base too, including base stats that are right in line with the other premier auto rifles in its family, like the Gnawing Hunger and the Scathelock. Gnawing Hunger does start off with slightly more range, but field tested quickly takes the Sterling up to match it and potentially way beyond it. The zoom value is 16, making it easy to duel enemies who get in too close to you as well. Now let's talk perks. The Old Sterling has some juiced perks for sure, including in the first column, Slideways, Surplus, and Discord. You've also got Hipfire Grip, Perfect Float, and Rewind rounds. The first 3 though are the ones that I'd recommend most for PvP. Slideways grants plus 20 stability and handling while also reloading a portion of the mag. It's very good for aggressive players who slide into engagements and lanes. Your target will be dead long before that 3-second timer on Slideways is up. Surplus is my personal favorite here. No sliding, no timer. I've almost always got 2 things cooled down, meaning I have a permanent plus 15 to stability, 25 reload speed, and plus 25 handling. Those are massive buffs. And if everything is cooled down, then it's 25 stability and 50 to both reload and handling. Absolutely juiced perk, and it always will be. Then you've got Discord, which I think has some really fun applications, which I'll touch on a little bit more later. Challenge the lane with like your sniper rifle, get a pick, now swap to the auto rifle and ADS faster with a better accuracy cone and plus 30 to your airborne effectiveness. I mean, the ceiling here is pretty high for people who like to hunt for flashy clips. For PvE though, I think rewind rounds is probably your best bet. Now in the second column, we've got Adagio, which is certainly not bad on adaptive autos, but it's a little niche. Then there's Focused Fury, Demolitionist, Hatchling, Frenzy, and Harmony. Now there's a great perk combo in there of Discord and Harmony. That could lead to some really fun clips, and I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out for that combo. Otherwise, Hatchling and Demolitionist are the best options here, I think. My full build here in the gameplay revolves around Threadlings, so my role has Demolitionist to keep my grenade energy topped off so I can throw more Threadling grenades. It works out very, very well. Now, I hope that the gameplay speaks well for itself here. I had an absolute riot running this auto rifle in PvP, and I'm no stranger to this family of autos. I've gotten down with Scathelock and Gnawing Hunger, and even the Crucible auto rifle from several seasons ago called the Sorrows Verse, and that one has trash-based stability. But the ceiling for the old Sterling feels just so high. The more you slay, the better it feels, the better it duels. I have a feeling I'm going to be using this a lot more in PvP this season, so it is my genuine recommendation that you keep an eye out for these to drop. You can't focus them, so if you get a good roll, then count yourself lucky. Now, if I may I make a small request of you? If you enjoy my content and you like hanging out here, would you consider dropping a view on the video I posted yesterday on the new upcoming game called Immortals of Avium? It's not Destiny, so it performs terribly on my channel, but I'd love to work with more gaming companies out there, and having dedicated videos of new games perform well is a great bargaining tool for me and helps me to get invited to reveal events and things like that. So it would be a huge help to me if some folks helped boost the performance of that video. Maybe you'll learn something new about the game in the process. It's definitely pretty. Unreal Engine 5.1 carries a lot of weight in that game, and I'll also be posting my actual opinion of the game in another follow-up video as well. Yesterday's video was all informative about what the game is, so yeah, I'll definitely drop my personal thoughts on it in a follow-up vid. Thanks so much everyone for your continued support on my channel. It really does mean the world to me. Be warm and well fed, my friends. Have a wonderful summer, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Just wanted to give you a heads up. I started recording like a live commentary for this, and it was like a dual feature, but I ended up scrapping that intro because I'm redoing this video to be 100% solely focused on this hand cannon, the combined action. So I'll show you a screenshot here without my ugly mug on it covering up the perks. But check this out. So Banshee is selling this right now. It's a 120 hand cannon. He apparently sold this before with a kill clip roll. But I'm telling you guys, this is the roll. This is nuts. So it's got Adagio on it, and my question was, is Adagio going to do enough damage to 2-tap? The answer to that question is yes, it absolutely does enough. It does 104 damage to the head, so you're 2-tapping people, no reload required. In my experience, I don't think those perks are